So this is the last topic of this course. Let me discuss what is a file handling and what is the necessity of file handling. Suppose you are writing a program which will deal with a matrix of size 100 cross 100. Write down on your copy. We would like to write a program which will handle a matrix. Maybe the name of the matrix is A. The size of the matrix is 100 cross 100. Maybe all element of these matrices are of integer types. The elements of the matrix may be of integers. So then, can you say the 100 cross 100 matrix will have how many elements? 10,000.
10,000.
10,000 number of elements, where each row has 100 number of integers, then 100 number of rows are there. Then I'll say that we'll have 10,000 number of elements. And suppose we want to enter the data dynamically in this program using scanf statements. How long would you take to insert the data for a matrix of size 100 cross 100? How much time would you spend
Whole
on
day.
this? No, not whole day. It will not be whole day. In the range of hours. Yes or no? Hours, maybe 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, like this. All are
Yes,
agree to
sir.
this?
Yes, sir.
May not be finished within a minute or seconds like this. We, let's say, entered using more than 1 hour, maybe 2 hour. Then we got the results, and we may not be satisfied with the results. Okay. Then we thought a particular value of the matrix, is supposed to be a 0. This particular elements should have a value 0, so that we'll get a correct results. Again, while entering the data in this particular place, by mistake you could not enter 0. By mistake you could not enter 0, and you started entering the next number. In that case, is there any scope of halting the program here, or you need to give all data, then execute it, and then re-enter the matrix from the beginning?
So
Do you have
re-enter the
any scope of
matrix.
rectifying this data to 0 after entering the next number?
No, sir.
No, sir. We don't have any options. Then unnecessarily you will enter all 10,000 data or not? Sanjay, agree or no?
Yes, sir.
This may happen. And let me again say, you enter correctly. You enter correctly. You got a correct results. Then what you want? You are testing this, entering a 0 in the main diagonal. Each time you run a program, I need to run it how many times? 100 times. I need to run my program for 100 times. Every time I'll only change one data. Every time I'll change only, rest of the data will remain same. And let's say every time I'll go on changing my main diagonal, one position 0 initially here, next time this position 0, next time this position 0, and the last time this position 0. Every time I'll enter a 0 in one of the main diagonal and would like to see the results. In this case, each time if you enter the matrix using scanf, if it takes 2 hours, if I want to run it for 100 times, how much time would you spend in entering the data? Forget about execution time. It will be 100 into 2 hours. All are agree to this or not? सर पॉसिबली सेमिस्टर खत्म हो जाएगा, कर नहीं पाएंगे, ऐसे ही छुट्टी में घर चला जाएंगे. यस सर, नो. अलग भी काम है कि और कुछ काम नहीं है, बहुत सारे काम है. So what I want, do you understand the problem here? I want to change only one data, not more data, and I want to re-execute it. By changing one data in the matrix, I would like to re-execute. Every time I'm entering 10,000 data, and during entering also I may make a mistake. The moment I made a mistake, I don't have the option of rectifying it. I'm continuing till the end, and then I'm running, knowing fully that it will give incorrect results. Then I again start re-executing the program. And if every time you make a wrong entry, only one wrong entry out of 10,000, then you'll never be able to run your programs. Yes or no? Do you understand the problem with this?
Yes,
How
sir.
to eliminate this? Sanidhya, how to eliminate this? Harika, how to eliminate it? कैसे करेंगे? Let's do one thing. Let's do one thing. Let us not enter the data from the keyboard. Let us enter the data from a disk file. I will keep my data in a file, and file is available on the disk. Like I write a program has include void main. Okay, I write down has include void main or not. Same way, I'll write a file. My contents of the file is not a program file like has include. My contents of the file is simply a two-dimensional matrix. Only those data. How many data? 10,000. My file will contain 10,000 data. Maybe the first entry is 0, second is 10, next entry is 20. Like this way, I'll write down 10,000 data. Maybe in a matrix format or row wise, 100, 200, doesn't matter. I'll store it. Those data are available in a disk file.
Yes.
Available in a file.
Yes.
File stored in the disk. That I say a disk files. Let's say name of the file is in.dat. Every file has a name or not?
Yes.
Your C programs is considered to be a file, must have a name. This file has also a name, let's say in.dat. In case of these files, extension is not mandatory. I gave an extension considering that it's not a program file, it's a data file. But extension is purely optional. I have a file which contains how many integer? 10,000. How many integers? 10,000, and in between every two integer, I have a space. If I want to write down two integer 10 and 20, will I write 10 and 20 or 10 space 20? In this way, I'll write down 10,000. I'll spend again, let me say 2 hours. After spending 2 hours supplying it from keyboard, my file is saved. My file is saved in the disk. So how do I take a data from the keyboard to the program with the help of which command? If you remember, scanf command possibly. अरे हाँ तो
Yes,
बोला
sir.
कम से कम अरे सानिध्या. Which command do I use to take a data from the keyboard?
Scan.
Scanf, syntax is /%d and ampersand variable name. Yes or no? I do that. So when we write a scanf command, immediately it takes data from the immediately it takes or immediately it waits to take the data from the keyboard. When the
It
scanf
waits.
gets executed,
Waits.
does it take data immediately or it waits immediately till the user press a key?
Waits for the user.
Press the Sir, key. waits
Waits
till
for
the
the
user.
user till the user press a key, then it will collect the data. Agreed or not? Now,
Yes, sir.
scanf is basically reading a data from a device. And for scanf, we have some default device. If you go to Linux environment, every device is also treated as a file. A file is treated as a file, but device keyboard is treated as a file. Your display monitor is also treated as a file in Linux environment. Okay. Now, data can be taken from keyboard. Data can also be taken from a disk file. So then if I write down another command fscanf, instead of writing scanf, what I'll write down? Fscanf. F stands for file. F stands for file. Scanf stands for read. Scanf stands for scan जो है read वही है चीजें. So fscanf means it will read from the file rather than reading from the keyboard. Rather than taking data from the keyboard, it will take the data from the files. Let me say how it will take data from the files. When I speak about a file, our monitor is considered to be a file. Our monitor is considered to be a file. And if you look at the monitor here, you must be knowing there is a cursor available in the monitor. The cursor points to, it's a basically read or write pointers. The cursor I told, if you look at from operating system perspective, it is considered as a read or write pointers. This cursor or pointer points to any position of the screen at the beginning or top left corner of the screen.
Top left.
top left. And as we go on giving data, the cursor remains the same position, or it moves just like I write something, my hands also move towards right.
Moves.
Yes or no? Your pen is a pointer. When we write some things, क्या हाथ पीछे आ जाता है कि आगे बढ़ता जाता है? कहाँ होता है? आगे. So system also same thing happens. The cursor will move. It will go on taking data. Now, you can think of a file like this. If you have a file which has data, as I told, the data could be written like this. Let's say the first data is 10, second, sorry, second is 20, next is 30, like this. We have 10,000 data. Then I'll come to this. We'll open the file. I'll be coming what is the opening of files. So there is a cursor which is pointing to the last position of the file. We have two pointers in the file. One is read pointer, one is write pointers. A write pointer normally points to the end of the files, and read pointer points to the beginning of the files. Understood it? Read pointer points to the beginning of the files. So when I write app scanf, let me write down a command here, app scanf. Some syntax I'll tell. Before this, यहाँ पे कुछ लिखेंगे आगे बढ़ने से, %d and let's say %p. If I write down this, so it will read the data from a keyboard or it will read the data from a file. And those data which have been read from a file will be stored in which variable?
P.
Very good. P. Syntax remains same. So then what value will be stored in P? Can anyone suggest right now? 10. After storing it, my cursor will be pointing to the 10 or will be pointing to 20?
20.
Very good.
20.
Pointing to 20. If again I'm writing a scanf command, the data 10 will be taken or 20 will be taken? Which one?
30, sir.
Cursor आगे बढ़ चुका है. When it was pointing to 10, I read 10, my cursor went to 20. Now if I read, my reading will occur to 20 and cursor will go to 30. ऐसे करते हैं कि नहीं हम हाथ जो लिखते हैं? My pen points to a free space where from I start or from a writing space where should I start?
So writing.
नहीं, मैंने लिख दिया कुछ नाम, मेरा जो पेन रहता ना, मैं पेन जहां रहता वहां से राइटिंग शुरू होता कि नहीं है?
Yes, sir. Yes.
वो तो खाली जगह को पॉइंट करता है. Yes, sir. Same way, if it
Yes,
points to 20, will read 20 and cursor will move to this. If I write another scanf command, what it will read? 30. If I write on
30.
scanf, will it read? It will read from keyboards. But I will tell in the operating system subjects, by writing scanf, I may force the system to read the data from the file also. वो भी दिखा देंगे. Understood or not? By writing app scanf, I have a way also by changing something in the OS, I will also be able to read the data from the keyboards. वो भी दिखा देंगे. वो भी डिस्कस नहीं कर रहा. Yes. क्या लिखा? %p लिखा, EP नहीं है. इतना दिन तक क्लास कर रहे हो, मैं हमेशा क्लास समझने के लिए सुनना पड़ेगा, देखना पड़ेगा. Can you only see and understand a class? अरे आंख काम कर रहा है, कान काम नहीं कर रहा है. Can you understand a class? कान काम कर रहा है, आंख नहीं काम कर रहा है. Can you understand a class? तो क्लास समझने के लिए दो चीज चाहिए. बोलना भी जरूरी है कि नहीं? लेकिन समझने के लिए सर आंख और कान होने से हो जाएगा. वही मैं आ रहा हूं. It will take it from file as I told, but the question remains, sir, in the disk, do you have one file or multiple files? डिस्क में एक फाइल तुम्हारा जो पिक्चर वाला फाइल है कि काफी सारे फाइल है?
बहुत सारे फाइल है.
काफी सारे.
पर कहां से पढ़ेगा? कंप्यूटर को कुछ पता है? तुम्हारा दिमाग स्टडी कर लिया क्या? तुम इन डॉट डैट से पढ़ना चाहता हो? डज इट नो और यू हैव टू मेंशन इट?
We have to mention it.
मेंशन इट. यही चीज है ना, वी हैव टू मेंशन इट. सो व्हेन वी राइट a scanf command, for scanf it is not required. Scanf will read the data from a default input device and keyboard is considered to be a default input device. But when you go for scanf, we must mention the name of the file from which it will read. Understood or not? We'll write down
Yes,
the
sir. Name of file. Name of the file from which we have to read.
very good, very good. Sarindra, so I refer you all your name, but do you know the institute refers basically you all by roll numbers?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. So we refer a file by its name but the operating system refers a file by its ID, roll numbers, which is basically file descriptor. File descriptor. File descriptor is a name or integer number?
Number.
Integer numbers. Keyboard has a file descriptor integer number 0. Screen has 1. Input out device, error device is 2. And 3 onwards, we will be allocating the file descriptor name to different files. Anyway, every file will have a name, will have a file descriptor, which is an integer number referred by the operating system. Understood it or not?
Yes.
So I want to mention here from which file OS will read, system will read. Do I need to mention the file name or I need to mention the file descriptor? Roll number बताना है कि नाम बताना है संध्या?
Descriptor. Roll number बताना है.
But do you know the descriptor name?
No,
सर हमको कुछ पता नहीं है
नहीं.
OS क्या क्या रोल नंबर देता है. Very good, doesn't matter. If you do not know what we do over here, we will write down here whichever file we want to read. Before reading, let me again clear the screen. Again, suppose I want to read from a book. Should I open the book or without opening I'll read? कभी कभी किताब पढ़ लेते हो कि कभी कभी तुम्हारा पितामाता बोलते होंगे हम पढ़ रहे हैं. अरे किताब तो खोले नहीं, पढ़ क्या रहे हैं? अरे यस सर नो, नहीं कभी बोले नहीं तुम लोग को, बोलते हैं किताब तो बेड पे पढ़े, खोले नहीं, बोल रहे पढ़ रहे हैं. So before you read from the book, you must open the book or not? नहीं बिना खोल के पढ़ लोगे क्या? अच्छा. So here also, before the system reads a data from a file, the file must be open. File must be open. Now there are many operations available in a file which will study in OS, but one of the operation is opening a file. One of the operation is opening a file. Opening up a file means, how do you open a file? We will write a system call fopen. We'll write down a system call
fopen.
We'll write down the name of the file inside. The syntax I'm coming, what I'll write down. I'll definitely write down the name of the file. क्या था नाम सानिध्य? in.dat. ऐसा कुछ था ना? Something else needs to be written over here. Let me write down sometime later, but I'll write down basically definitely the name of the file. fopen. Fopen stands for file. Open stands for open.
Opening the file.
Open it. अच्छा ठीक है. जब किताब खोलते हो, हाथ में खोलते हो, उसको पकड़ के रखना पड़ता है.
Yes.
है कि नहीं? So file is open. Who will catch hold of the file? So what we have to do? So we have to define a file pointer. We have to open a define a file pointers. ये तो सर पढ़ाया नहीं file pointer. Let me tell. So we have a struct data type. We have a structure data type. And let me tell one thing. Structure data types are only being defined by the user. No. Sometimes those people who have written compilers, they might have defined some system defined structure data types. Understood or not? System defined structure data types, and we have a system defined structure data type whose name is FILE capital. Type def struct FILE. If I write down type def struct FILE, do I need to write down struct FILE or FILE will only work? Type def clear karo. Once I write down type def, no need to write down struct file. Suppose I define struct student data type. Do I need to declare a variable by writing? I must write down struct student s1 s2. But if I write down type def struct student, then in my variable declaration I can only write down student s1 s2. Now, what is a file? Is it a variable or data type? Data type. This data type is a which struct data types has been defined by the user or by the system?
By the system.
We don't have idea about what is the contents of this. Who are the data members? We don't know. Who are the data members? Because this data type we have not defined. System has defined. I know a little bit because I know a little bit about operating system. I know what are the contents of, what are those data members of a file data structures. Then we'll define a file. Let me say F1. Okay. What is the name of the variable? Can anyone say what is the name of the variable? Name of the variable is f1. Yes or no?
Yes.
Which type of variable? Integer, float, char, or struct, fly?
Struct
F
file.
file.
Very good. Very. If I put a star here, अच्छा star का black color में डाल देते हैं. If I put a star here, is it a variable or pointer?
Pointer.
Pointer variable. Variable obviously. Pointer variable. This pointer variable is pointing to a integer data or a file data.
Struct file.
And file is a structure data type. Is it understood? Tell me yes or no.
Yes, yes, sir.
So we have declared a pointer variable pointing to a struct of which type? A file?
File.
FILE.
FIL.
The FIL is more correct answer than file.
Yes, sir.
बोलने को तो बोल देते हैं. And that FIL is capital or small?
Capital.
यही भी बोलना पड़ता है. अब समझ में आया?
Yes,
And
sir.
when we open a file, who will catch hold of the file? This file
F1.
pointer F1. Understood or not? So when
Yes,
I
sir.
write down F1 assigns to this, the file will be opened. अरे yes or no? फाइल
Yes,
खुल
sir.
जाएगा OS से कहां भी जो भी डाटा 10, 20 सब था उसके लिए तुम्हारा पास क्या है? You have a pointer. Yes or no? What is the name
Yes,
of the
sir.
pointer?
F1.
Very good. F1. Okay, whom it points to?
10. File. Open file. In dot dat.
Yes, it has been opened and being cut by who? F1. Yes or no? ये समझ में आया कि नहीं है? Now, if I want to write down, अच्छा, before you read, you have to open the file. File खोल दे book जैसे. After that, we can start reading on that. And once I open this, my file pointer, which I told a read pointer, basically it's not file pointer, read pointer of the file. Read pointer of the. It is pointing to the first data or last data or middle data or any data.
First.
Very good. अब आ जाएगा समझ में. Let me write down a variable. Sorry, f scanf. Okay. Percentage d. Ampersand. Let me write down x, and x is an integer variable. Let me write down int x. Okay. I wrote it. The question somebody has asked, f scanf. We'll read it. We'll read it. अच्छा ऐसे भी हो सकता है. So I want to read it. But from which file? Did I mention from which file I'll read it? If it is scanf, it is the keyboard default device. If it is scanf, it is the default device keyboard. But if it is fscanf, it is a file. But file, do you have one or multiple in the systems?
Multiple.
You
Multiple.
want to read from all files? अच्छा सब किताब से पढ़ लोगे एक बार कि एक एक किताब से
नहीं
पढ़ना
सर.
पड़ेगा?
एक किताब.
तो कौन सा पढ़ोगे? Did I mention it here? अब तक नहीं है. करना चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So should I write down now in dot dat, or I'll write down now f1, which is referred by the system?
F1.
F1.
I'll write down the file pointer name answer for f1. Understood or not? कौन सा फाइल को से पढ़ोगे? f1 और to whom f1 is pointing to?
F1 जिसको पॉइंट कर रहा है इन डॉट.
हाँ, f1 जिस जो किताब हाथ में है ना उसी को पढ़ो. यही है कि सारे किताब तो खोल के बैठे, कभी कभी टेबल पे तुम लोग खोल देते. So you will read from a file which is being pointed by the file pointer f1.
F1.
Understood it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And then when we open a file, मैंने बुक बोल रहा था ना, कॉपी और बुक. अच्छा हमेशा क्या खोलते हो नोट्स वगैरह पढ़ने के लिए, कभी लिखने के लिए भी खोलते हो?
लिखने के लिए.
लिखने के लिए भी लोग खोलते हैं. लिखते हो घर में? हाँ?
Yes, sir.
और क्या?
हाँ सर.
क्या क्या लिखे बोलो तो मेरे को कल. कुछ नहीं लिखे. अच्छा ठीक है. अब मैंने I opened a book. I can either read, I can write, I can both read and write. If I am opening it in reading, then I will be giving an option here. Basically, the mode in which I want to open. R stands for read. I cannot write onto that. If I open in a write, what should be the character? Can anyone guess?
W.
पता है तुम लोग guess कर लेते हो. W. Other characters are also there. If I want to both read and write, it could be W plus. थोड़ा आगे write भी करो, read भी करो. और भी है. Sometimes we can write at the end. That is basically append operations. Sometimes I can start writing from the beginning. वो हमारा कॉपी जैसे नहीं है. थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है. कॉपी में क्या है, इफ आई हैव रिटन टू पेज 1, कैन आई ओवरराइट ऑन टू पेज 1? सर दिखेगा नहीं, पेन में लिखा हुआ है, उसी के ऊपर लिख सकते हो क्या कागज में, लेकिन कंप्यूटर मेमोरी में लिख सकते हैं. भाई आया कि नहीं समझ में? सो वन राइटिंग कैन बी स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग, वन राइटिंग कैन बी स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम द
And
end, and that is append or write. Other options are also there. We'll be coming to this. First of all, let me say, so if it happens, let me tell, I will create a input file once. The way I write C program has include, यहां पे कहां से शुरू करोगे, 1020. I created, I saved it. Can I save it or not? Yes sir, समझा?
yes sir, yes sir.
Once I save it, how many data we have inside the file? Do you remember the value which I told?
10,000.
हमारा मैट्रिक्स था ना 100 क्रॉस 100.
Yes sir.
एक बार 2 घंटा में कर दिया, ठीक है. Now if I want to read this data to my matrix of name was A 100 cross 100, I can read my first data, let me say, by writing A, I and J, ampersand. I can keep this statement inside a for loop where I and J will vary from 0 to 99, 0 to 99 or not.
Yes sir.
काम हो गया. I got the result. When I tested it for taking the first left corner value was 0. Also value दे दे, 0 दे दे. Next time when I want to run, I want to give which value 0, the next value to 0 here. Run हो गया. Can I open the file in that?
Yes
जो
sir.
फाइल सेव किए थे पुराना सी प्रोग्राम खोल सकते कि नहीं खोल सकते?
Yes sir.
If you open it, those data are there or not?
Yes sir.
If those data are there, can I move my cursor only to update this data to 0?
Yes. Yes
How
sir.
much time do you need to update this? Only 1 second.
Yes sir.
Then can I run my program where the next data is also 0?
Yes sir.
I can also do next time the next data in the corner is 0 or not. Every time do I input 10,000 data or only I am changing one data in the existing file?
One data changer.
Do you understand why should I go for a file handling programs?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
The necessity, did I explain or not?
Yes sir.
Because I want to change only one small data in a big set of data. I run my programs. Every time I want to do, maybe 1 or 2 data I want to change. And another point, when I supply the whole matrix, I found, oh, I entered this 0, it should be 10. Do I have a scope to return back my cursor to update this or not in a C program, in a C editor?
Yes sir.
No, sir.
Do I have option? Yes or no? I
Yes,
can
sir.
go to any position to change my data in my file or not.
Yes, sir.
As one way. So that basically deals with your file handling. Let me discuss this with program. Now look at this. We have many functions, C functions available. F open, okay, F close. And suppose I open as a किताब खोल देता हूं, पढ़ तो लेता हूं, फिर सो जाता हूं, खुला रहता है किताब. Yes or no? कभी मत क्या करो. Never do that. किताब में जो नॉलेज है ना वो चला जाएगा किसी के पास. Never do that. It's a practical I'm telling. कभी भी हमेशा सोते वक्त मतलब खत्म हो गया पढ़ाई मतलब you should close the book. If you do not close, the ghost will come and they will read the book. You will not be able to acquire the knowledge. Never do that. लोग बोलते हैं, मैं भी बोलता हूं ये, लेकिन मैं प्रैक्टिस कर चुका हूं. कभी भी किताब खोल के मत रखो. अगर नहीं पढ़ाई करना है तो इसको क्लोज कर लो. So if I'm opening a book, I should close it or not?
Yes,
Or
sir.
yes or no? So the command is F close. Inside that, which file it will? काफी सारे किताब हैं, खोल चुके हैं. So can I only open one file when I run my program? कभी कभी पढ़ते हैं 2-3 किताब खोल देते कि नहीं? अरे yes or no?
Yes,
So,
sir.
so if you can open multiple, but whichever book or file you do not want to make any operation, I can close. So inside this, the syntax is I'll write down the name of the pointer which was pointing to that. Let us close that. Get C, put C is basically character, F printf, F scanf are basically as I told, F6. I'm not discussing. So now come back to this. As I told, Because to do any operation on a file, we have to open a file, and to open a file, I should have a pointer who can point to the file. Understood it? Yes or no? A normal pointer cannot point to a file. The pointer should be pointing to a struct of file. That you must have. So before opening a file, you must declare file star fp. Understood it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then I am opening the file. What is the name of the file? File name. मैंने क्या दिया?
File name.
Then I'll write down the mode, or modes. I'm discussing it here. Read is for reading purpose. R is for writing, and normally this is writing. So if that doesn't exist, then a new file is created. Then writing in appending mode. Appending mode means writing will start from the end of writing.
End.
Copy में जहां खत्म हुआ था सर वहीं से लिखना शुरू कर देते हैं. ठीक है. Others both reading and writing. This also reading and writing. We'll discuss this later on. But file fp1 fopen in.cr. What does it mean? Which file is open? What's the name of the file?
C file.
So who is
In
pointing to
C.
that?
FP1.
fp1 is pointing this. Then I open the second file in append mode. I can do a writing over here. Yes or no? Who is
Yes,
pointing
sir.
to that?
FP2.
Like this, let's come to the first examples. And after doing the operations, as I told, आज से किताब खुला रख के मत सोना, ठीक है? I'll go for F close. Okay? F close, I'll write on FP1. If I run on FP1, what will happen? The file will automatically be closed. Many aspects are there when we study operating system in fourth semester. I will discuss many of the things. What do you mean by closing a file? What exactly happens when you close a file? Many things. But at least you learn open is a file is open, and when we complete our operation, we must close it. And if you do not close it, when the program terminates, the operating system will automatically close all files which you have opened, which your mother normally does in your house. Yes or no? कभी कभी देखो बेड में सारे किताब खुला था, सबर देख लो सब बंद है. कौन बंद किया? Do you agree with me? Yes or no? हाँ? नहीं कभी नहीं हुआ. हाँ? होता है, बंद होता है. तो मतलब तुम सो गए, तुम्हारा मम्मी कोई आए घर में, पापा वगैरह, तुम्हारी किताब क्लोज करके रख दिया. क्या होता कि नहीं होता? मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ यही भी होता है दोस्तों. When the program terminates, all files are automatically being closed, which you have not closed. सो गए पढ़ के. ठीक है, थक गए. हाँ, आगे बढ़ते हैं. फिर let's come to the example. Let's create a file. The name of the file I given as a data in. मैंने नाम दे दिया, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता एक्सटेंशन वगैरह. And what I stored in my file 10 20 30 40 50 60 ऐसे कुछ नंबर स्टोर कर दिए. 10 20 नंबर्स. आया समझ में? अरे हाँ या ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And do remember, if those are integer, in between two integer there ought to have a space. ऐसा नहीं कि सर 10 खत्म हो गया, वहां से 20 शुरू कर दिए. If I write on 1020, what is the number? 1020 or 1020?
1020.
बोल नहीं पाएगा सर. क्या समझ आ रहा है कि नहीं? In between every two integer there ought to have a space. ये create हो गया. This should be created before you run your programs. Now let's come to the programs. क्या मैंने program लिखा था पढ़ लेते हैं. Read contents of a file and store it onto an array. Read contents of a file and store it onto an array and find out some of the elements. So means the contents of the file should be a set of integers. Contents of the file are set of integers. We'll read this, then add it
Sorry.
and store the. I took an array of size 10.
10.
So how many number I'll read? I'll read 10 numbers. There could be multiple numbers. I'll read which 10 numbers? First 10 numbers. And I'll store it in A of 0 to A of 9. I have an integer variable I and sum equal to 0, initial sum equal to 0. Have you stored any value in the array A of 10? तो स्टोर नहीं हुआ. कीबोर्ड से लोगे? कहां से लोगे? फाइल से.
File.
I wrote fp fopen data.in read. Understood up to this? Tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
फाइल खुल गया, फाइल से पढ़ेंगे, है कि नहीं? अच्छा देखो, for I varies from 0 I less than 10, I wrote fscanf fp percentage d ampersand a of I. So in the first time which data I will read? कौन सा डाटा हम पढ़ेंगे और कौन सा वेरिएबल में जाएगा? क्या नंबर था याद है कुछ? पहला नंबर क्या था? 10. किस लोकेशन में जाएगा? इंडेक्स पोजीशन क्या है?
0.
Understood. And that I added to the previous sum. आया समझ में? आगे
Yes,
बढ़े.
sir.
Then Up again will come here. I will value will become
1,
1. Then it will read the next data. क्या था कुछ याद है मेमोरी में?
20,
20 will be stored in A of. Understood or not? It will go on reading A0, A1 up to I equal to
9.
9. Then will come out of the loop or not?
Yes, sir.
If my file has 100 data, can I read 20 data? Yes or no?
Yes,
Add कर दिए. कितने बार एंट्री किए फाइल में? एक बार. Suppose I want to do the addition of 10 numbers where the first number is 0. I want to do. Then what I can do? I can return back to my file. Do I need to change all data or first data to 0?
First data.
Then I can run my program or not? Do I need to enter again 10 data?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
I can save my time or क्या? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
ये
sir.
ठीक लग रहा है कि नहीं लग रहा है ये जो मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ?
हाँ, sir.
हाँ, sir.
हाँ, ठीक है. Now print the sum. I want to display those numbers in reverse orders. जो हम पढ़े थे, ठीक पढ़े थे, क्या पढ़े थे, क्या पता कुछ है क्या? कर तो दिए. So I have to display it or not? I displayed
Yes,
those
sir.
numbers in the same sequence or the reverse sequence?
Reverse order.
Reverse. 10 कहाँ पे होगा? पहले डिस्प्ले होगा कि आखिरी में होगा?
आखिरी में.
आखिरी में.
Last में होगा. Because I started printing A, I assigns to 9, I greater than equal to 0, I minus minus. Then I close the file. Achha, tell me, had I been written this fclose command here, it would have been better or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, यहाँ तो आप फाइल यूज नहीं कर रहे हैं. इस जगह पे मैंने फाइल यूज कर रहा हूँ क्या?
No, sir.
तो क्लोज कर देने से किताब अच्छा ही है कि नहीं? भाई पानी गिर जाएगा, कुछ भी हो जाएगा, वहीं बेड पे तो पढ़ रहे हैं पानी रख के, है कि नहीं? तो ये किताब नहीं पढ़ रहे, क्लोज कर देते हैं, so that nothing will happen. Understood it or not?
Yes, sir.
So if you do not understand, at least close it at the end of the files, end of the programs. सर कहाँ समझ में कहाँ करें? आखिरी में कर दो. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Very good. आगे बढ़ते हैं. तो मैं इसलिए पढ़ाता हूँ. You can ask your teacher also. Here technical assistance. Normally this topic is not being taught in any of the sections. You can verify it. If I teach, at least you can explain it to your friends. Okay? पूछ भी सकते हो, जिनका भी हो गया भाई वगैरह कुछ पढ़ाते हैं, ठीक है? आगे बढ़ते हैं. हो गया. Yeah. Now I want to send contents of an array to a file. Reverse. फाइल से क्या करें? पढ़ रहे हैं, अभी फाइल में क्या करेंगे? लिखेंगे. I don't want to display the result on the screen. I want to send my data to a text file, and later on I can read it and find out what value I have written. So I took a file pointer again, fp. This is my array which has data 2 4 6 8 like this. Again, अच्छा मैंने लिखने के लिए बोलूंगा, कॉपी खोलोगे कि नहीं खोलोगे? पढ़ने के लिए खुलना जरूरत पड़ता है, लिखने के लिए भी. So for this also you have to open it. I get the name of the file as data.out and my mode is writing. Now again I wrote it. fprintf fp. I'm not writing printf. Printf लिखने से कहाँ जाता?
Keyboard.
Keyboard में. But I wrote let's fp %d comma a of I. So a of 0 will go to where? To the file. File में कहाँ लिखेगा? Top left first position. Next data will return to the
Next position.
in these it will go on writing all these data or not? लेकिन इसमें problem है. 10 20 can be written with space or without space?
With space.
नहीं, हमने जो प्रोग्राम लिखे हैं यहाँ, इसी के मुताबिक will it write consecutively or with space?
So
Consecutively. We must provide a space or not?
Yes, sir.
क्या करोगे फिर? एक f printf दे दो आगे. f printf क्या करो? डबल कोड स्पेस. अरे यस और नो?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा लिख के पढ़ पाओगे? क्या लिखेंगे? f printf fp, है कि नहीं?
Yes, sir.
ऐसे कर दो. अंडरस्टूड और नॉट?
Yes, sir.
में %d के आगे
वेरी गुड. क्या नाम है? सौरभ. सौरभ, हाँ ठीक ही बोले. ये सौरभ बोल रहे हैं %d के आगे एक स्पेस दे देंगे, वो भी होगा, ठीक है कि नहीं? ये भी होगा. सॉरी. अच्छा एक काम करते हैं, %d का आगे एक बैकस्लैश n दे देते हैं. सौरभ, ये और अच्छा होगा कि नहीं होगा बोलो तो? नंबर लाइन पे आ जाएगा, वरना पढ़ना मुश्किल होता था ना. 10 20 ऐसे आता है, क्या पता कौन सा नंबर क्या दिए. Understood it? Yes or no? So we
Yes.
can take data from an input file, we can write it onto an output file. Now let's see another program. Display the contents of a file on screen. Display the contents of a file on the screen. You will read it from a file and display the contents of a file. And that file is your previous C program. Do you remember what C program you have written? File का नाम याद है? अरे yes or no? Abhi, now I will not open it in C. I will execute a C program. I will execute a C program. What is the task of the C program? To read your another C program, to read another C program and display it on the screen. Understood or not? क्या है तुम्हारा program का काम? It will read
another C
another C program and display it on the screen. आया समझ में क्या करना है कि नहीं? अच्छा, मैं जो C program लिया था वो pr1.c. क्या नाम है?
pr1.c.
So I opened a file. I took a character ch. The file is open. And let me tell one thing, EOF, end of file. This is a special symbol. It's a symbol. Comprises of 3 characters, but it's a special symbol which is inserted at the end of the file by the system automatically. We never write EOF at the end of the file. हमने program लिख लिए. When we save it, at the end of the file, what is written? EOF, which is a special symbols. Understood it? Yes or no? लिखो EOF stands for end of file. ये तो नहीं लिख रहा हूँ. इन लोगों को तो शायद पता है, इसलिए बोल देता है end of file. And this we don't write. It is auto by default. It is written by the system when we end the files. आया समझ में? आगे बढ़े? अच्छा. So what I wrote now, Sanidhya, you look at this. CH F get C. Get C is a function to read a character from the screen. F लग जाने से क्या होगा?
File get C.
Sanidhya Mohan. MR लिखने से boys, MRS लिखने से girls. Yes or no?
Yes.
समझ में? सानिध्य कुछ खराब तो नहीं लगा तुमको? मैं बोल देता
एग्जाम्पल देते। नहीं सर, ठीक है
ठीक है. मतलब now if I write get C, read data from the keyboard. अरे get C, read data from the
Keyboard.
Sorry, get C. F get C
From file.
I guess so we'll read it from, and which file?
FP.
कौन सा फाइल से पढ़ेगा? FP किसको पॉइंट करता है?
PR1.
Very good. We'll read it. Okay. How long we'll go on reading it? Till it's not equal to end of the files. We'll go on reading. And once I read, if it is not end of file, what I'll do? I'll print a percentage to CH. It will display on the screen or not?
Yes, sir.
आया समझ में? और क्या?
Yes, sir.
सौरभ. हाँ.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
While पहले क्या करेगा? एंड ऑफ फाइल टेस्ट करेगा, पढ़ेगा?
पहले पढ़ेगा.
कहाँ स्टोर होगा?
CH में.
This statement will return what it is stores or not.
Yes,
Suppose
sir.
I have a file A equal to B plus C. This is my end of the file. What it reads first? Can anyone suggest?
A.
That character will be available in CH. It will be displayed. Then the pointer will remain there, or it will go to equal.
Equal.
Then
B plus C.
Now when it goes to this, what is written here?
End of file.
Will come out of this. Understood it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
दूसरा लाइन होगा. There would be enter key or not? Enter is a character or not?
Yes, sir.
Enter is a character. And when enter is displayed, do you see anything on the screen, or cursor comes down to the first position of the next line?
Cursor.
First position. Very good. आया समझ में? और yes or no? वहां पे एक लाइन लिखो तो, count number of character A present in the file. Count number of character A present in the file. ठीक है? क्या करोगे? सानिध्या,
हाँ सर सर
हाँ
we'll check if
अंदर
ch equal to a
वेरी गुड हाँ क्या लिखोगे इफ
ch
हाँ
equal to
इक्वल टू
small a
देन
और
काउंट प्लस
ch
प्लस
equal to capital A
हाँ
दोनों में
काउंट प्लस प्लस
हाँ
यहाँ काउंट वेरिएबल ले लेना
यस सर
काउंट वेरिएबल को क्या कैरेक्टर लेने से चलेगा
हाँ सर int और
Yes, sir.
कैरेक्टर सेम होते हैं
नहीं चलेगा काउंट इंटीजर एंड कैरेक्टर्स कैन बी डिक्लेयर्ड
Simultaneously.
interchangeably and they can be
Interchangeably.
used. You declare character doesn't matter. I declare character, but I initialize it with integer or character. मैंने जीरो इनिशियलाइज किया इंटीजर इनिशियलाइज किया कैरेक्टर इनिशियलाइज किया
integer
इंटीजर्स अंडरस्टूड और नॉट काहे फिर लिखेंगे आईएनटी है कि नहीं उसी सीएचआर तो है ही उसी पे कर देते हैं अंडरस्टूड इट so this is another program
sir.
you need to write down this ये क्या था हाँ ये भी कर सकते हो काउंट कैर्स नंबर ऑफ कैरेक्टर नंबर ऑफ ब्लैंक स्पेस नंबर ऑफ टैब्स एंड नंबर ऑफ न्यू लाइंस इन ए फाइल काउंट इट कैरेक्टर कितना है ब्लैंक्स कितना है स्पेस कितना है टैब्स कितना है और सब एनओसी स्टैंड्स फॉर नंबर ऑफ
Character.
number of character
एनओवी स्टैंड्स फॉर नंबर ऑफ
blank space
एनओटी स्टैंड्स फॉर नॉट नंबर ऑफ टैब्स
tabs
एनओएन
New line.
new lines same approach only you will check same approach while ch is equal to this not end of file noc plus plus for the hey character then if ch double equal to space increase if ch equal to tab increase if ch equal to new line increase it and close the file if you want to display you can display all this मैंने लिखा नहीं डिस्प्ले तो तुम कर सकते हो प्रिंट टेप देख Is it understood? Tell me yes or no.
yes sir
Yes, sir.
Yes,
10
sir.
minutes you wait. I'll finish another small topic. Okay. Online student, if you exit, let me. होता है कि नहीं? हाँ. क्या चीज? अरे पूछो मैं सुन रहा हूँ मैं दिखना जरूरी थोड़ी ना है तुम सोचो सर मेरे को देख के सुनेंगे ऐसा थोड़ी ना है बिना देखे तो मैं सुन सकता हूँ क्या चीज सब कुछ कर सकते हैं सब कुछ कर जरूरत नहीं हो जाओ look at this so during execution of our program data can either be available in the registers or in the memory write down this data can either be available in the registers or memory during execution of a program the data can either be available in the registers inside bracket inside the CPU in the registers inside bracket inside the CPU or in the main memory okay or in the main memory if I write an expression like this let me say that a equal to b plus c let me say a equal to b plus c suppose I want to carry out this operation addition and both the data B and C are available inside the CPU. Both the data are available inside the CPU. This operation will take some time. If both the data are available in the main memory, it operation will also take some time. Which is faster? अच्छा जेब में पैसा होने से खर्चा जल्दी होता है या बैंक में होने से जल्दी हो जाता है आजकल तो हो गया मोबाइल नहीं है पैसा तुम्हारा जेब में है पैसा बैंक में है which is very faster to spend
जेब में
होने से so if the registers are inside the CPU if data are there inside the register then operation will become faster
slow
नहीं faster जल्दी हो जाएगा भाई जेब में है जल्दी खर्चा कर लगे yes but if the data are there in the main memory we have to bring it and then carry out the operations agree to this or not so will you try to keep the data in the registers or in the memory for executions Saurabh
register
register में रखना चाहेंगे मैं जल्दी हो जाएगा operations but do you have sufficient register to hold all your data no therefore few data are kept in the registers and rest of the data are normally available in the main memory understood and when data are available in the main memory we have two areas where data can be available either in the stack area or in the heap area. कहीं नहीं मिलेगा आपकी किताब में सी में, either in the heap area or in the stack area. If they are in the main memory, data can either be available in the heap area or in the stack area. Okay. If the data are available in the heap area, their existence, their lifetime starts from starting of execution till the end of the executions. If data is kept in the heap area, the existence will be starting of execution till the end of the execution. If the data is kept in the stack, it is only available for a smaller block. If the data is available in the stack, then its existence is for a block. A function can also be called as a block or not. A for loop can be a block or not. Inside a function, if I declare a variable inside the function, then its existence will start when the function is called. It disappears when the function terminates. And those local variables should be kept in the stack or heap?
Stack.
In the stack. Very good. Good answer. Understood or not? So all local variables of the C programs to a function normally available in the stack. They will be created when the function is called and they are destroyed when the function execution is terminated. But the global variables, non-local, they are normally kept in the heap so that their existence starts at the time of starting of execution and they will alive till the end of the executions. Understood or not? So some data are stored in stack, some data are stored in heap, depending upon their lifetime of use. Considering all this, we have different storage classes in C program, automatic storage class. All local variables are considered to be automatic storage class and are to be stored in the stack, and the reserved word auto is written before that. I write int A. By default, it is a automatic, local to the functions and stored in the stack. I could write auto int A also. If nothing is written, the variable is considered to be a auto variable. Its existence is only within the block. Existence is only within the block and stored in the, very good. And in case of a static storage class, a reserved word static is written. Its storage is in the heap, not in the stack. Static storage class variables are stored in heap, not in the stack. Its existence is when the function is called and it will be alive till the end of the programs, till the end of the program. It will be stored not at the beginning of the program, but when we call the function for the first time. When we call the function for the
First.
It will disappear when the program disappears. जब प्रोग्राम ऊपर जाएगा ना तो ये भी ऊपर चला जाएगा. आया समझ में? ये स्टैटिक. External storage classes are basically global variables. They will be created when the program starts its execution and they will go to heaven when the program terminates. तभी ऊपर जाएंगे. And must be stored in stack or heap. Very good, heap. Very good, heap. Then register storage class. Then if I define a variable to be register, all the variables on the choice of the compiler, few variables will be allocated in the register inside the CPU. But if explicitly I specify this variable must be stored in my register, then I have to write down a register word. Then the variable will also have a location in the register inside the CPU. So which variable you should keep inside in your register? The variable which you use most frequently or not?
Yes, sir.
आज तक
Yes,
इतने
sir.
प्रोग्राम देखे सानिध्य कौन सा वेरिएबल को बहुत बार यूज किए?
Loop variable.
आई है कि नहीं? सभी ने यूज किया, हम भी यूज किया आई बहुत बार. अरे भाई ट्रू और फॉल्स?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
सही है. सो आई वेरिएबल को क्या डिक्लेयर करना चाहिए? रजिस्टर इंट आई. so that the program execution will become faster. I will always be stored inside the register, not in the main memory. Understood it or not?
Yes, sir.
So with this storage class, auto, as I told, look at this. The table is very simple. Auto variables are stored in the memory, in the stack area of the memory. Initial value is basically a garbage. Any value can be stored over here. Local to the block. Local to the block means इसका फायदा जब block होगा तभी होगा, है कि नहीं?
Yes, sir.
कब मर जाएगा? जब block खत्म हो जाएगा. block खत्म हो जाएगा, उसका भी life खत्म हो गया. Lifetime is within the block. Then life is within the block. Scope is local in the block. Starting variable stored in the memory, but which area of the main memory? Heap area. And static variable, if you do not initialize, it should be initialized to 0 by default. Static variable should be initialized to 0 by default if you do not go for any explicit initializations. Understood? And
Yes,
static
sir.
variable is initialized only once. Static variable is initialized only on the first time when you call a function. Subsequently, if I call a function, static variable will not be reinitialized. I'll show it examples. Register inside memory, garbage local to the block and within the blocks. Only static variable will persist till the end of the executions. Now let me show an examples. Block I already told. A curly braces can be defined as a block or not. Available for a function, available for a for loop also. Before that, let me show some examples of scope of the variables. Scope of variable, let me explain with example. I declare a variable int a. I have a block here int a. Can I declare same variable a 2 times inside a program or not? Yes. This is my inner block. If I want to print a, what it will print? 5 or 10?
10.
10. And outside this red block, if I want to print a, which one will be printed? 5 or 10? 5. Very good. Next. If I write printf a, it will print 5. A plus plus. Which variable will be changed? This a will be changed to 11 or this a will be changed to 6?
6.
Very good. Look at this. Look at this. I declared a variable int b equal to 5. Inner block here, I wanted to print b. What did you print?
5.
And is b declared inside this? So
No,
this
sir.
scope will also be applicable to inner block. Inside this block, this 5 will be displayed 5, value of 5 will become 6. When I print here, value of b will be printed as?
5.
No, 6.
6.
Opposite
Same
6.
b is here, same b. This b is same as here. In the previous case, it is not same. Yeah, when I declare another variable inside this, that basically delete the scope of this. But when I do not declare it inside this, I don't declare int b. So same b will persist inside this. Look at this. Again, I declared int b equal to 9. If I print, what it will print? 5 or 9?
9.
And this value will become 10.
10.
When I come out and want to print b, will it print 10 or 5?
5.
Oh, very good, very good, very good. Automatic storage class, scope and life combined. B1, auto int I equal to 1, B2, B3. If I want to print, same 1 will be printed, yes or no?
Yes,
If I
sir.
want to print another y, same 1 will be printed. Look at this. I had a int I equal to 1. Again, I declared int I equal to 2. So in the block B3 also I declared int I3. What it will print? The red color will print.
3.
Blue color will print.
2.
Black color will print.
1.
Understood it or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Look at this. Look at this. अभी मेन में आ जाओ. Come to main. ऊपर से मत पढ़ा करो. कहां से एग्जीक्यूशन शुरू होता है? मेन से. तुम कंपाइल कर रहे हो कि एग्जीक्यूट कर रहे हो? सो कंपाइल करने के लिए शुरू से पढ़ो. एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए हाँ, ऐसे नहीं कि ऊपर देख रहा हो, नीचे देखो. मेन int m equal to 10. This is the main function. Now I call function 2. When I go to function 2, it has its own m30. It calls another function, function 1. I went here, m equal to what? This m will be printed first.
20.
20. Very good. When I come back, it will print.
30.
When I come back, it will print.
10.
Very good. Very good. Registers I already told. अब से ऐसा करना, register int I. ये करने से क्या होगा? Program execution will become
Faster.
why the variable I will be kept inside the
Register
CPU.
class.
Inside. If you do not write register, it may not be stored in the register, but here it definitely be stored in the registers. यूज करना, ठीक है? कोई देखेगा ना बाहर वाला, तुम्हारा प्रोग्राम ऐसे करके दोगे ना, they will be impressed on this. ये कुछ समझा? तुम बोल सके my program will become faster than others if I do not write registers over here. These are basically the students of computer science engineer must write. बीए लोग बीए वाला भी पढ़ता है, ग्रेजुएट आर्ट्स वाला, तुम्हारा कोई अंतर नहीं होगा इफ यू राइट ओनली इंट ए. Every time it will be reinitialized.
Yes, sir.
Even if I increment, when I again call it, it will print 1.
One only.
Suppose in place of auto, I would have written static. In place of auto, I would have written
Static.
first time it would have printed,
One.
then M would have been increased to
Two.
next time reinitialize will not occur.
Yes, sir.
Next time it will print
Two.
नहीं, two.
1,
First
2, 3. Yes, sir.
2, then it will print 3.
3.
Understood it or not?
Yes, sir.
यही देख लो, जो बोला था वही इधर दे दिया. Just test it in your computer.
Yes.
आया समझ में? Look at this. क्या होगा? How many times I will call it? So static variable will be initially how many times?
1.
When it is called for the first time, and it will retain its value till
End of the
Till
execution of
end
the
of the
program.
function or end of the whole program.
Whole program.
So it is stored in the stack or heap. Very good. Heap. Okay. ठीक है, यहां तक कर लो. कोई एंटायर ग्लोबल वेरिएबल बाद में समझाएंगे, ये तो ग्लोबल है. ठीक है, यहाँ तक. So this is about the whole C programming. More or less I discussed everything. Now you have two choices. Now I wrote to conduct the examination on 4th of June. If you feel you can prepone it to 2nd or 3rd, it's your choice. 4th of June is a Saturday, I think. Are yes or no? Sanindya,
Yes, sir.
if you all want, you can prepone it to 2nd of June or 3rd of June. Choice is yours. 4th is ठीक है. No issue. I don't have a problem because
So
I want
there
to.
is no issue with exam being held on 4th.
Yes, sir.
नहीं, मैं ये बोला था, the course is finished. We can opt for next Thursday or next Friday. Choice is yours, or as it is on Saturday.
So as it is on Saturday.
Very good. Very good. Let's not go for so many confusion. As
Yes,
it is
sir.
Saturday.
Yes, sir.
4th. Very good. Now, next two question. Next Thursday and Fridays are optional days for classes. Optional days means if you want to come, you come. I will not teach. I may come to your lab to clarify your doubts. Technical assistance will be there to help you to solve all your doubts. Understood it? But I will not teach like this. Second option. Students whose continuous evaluation has not been done because of your absence in 1 or 2 classes, that categorically I told today you evaluate less students are there to make up those marks. Okay. Regular classes 3 marks, absentees got 0, but if you come on Thursday or Friday, they may consider to go for some viva and make up those marks. So Thursday, Friday, those who have lost few marks in the continuous evaluation may come, okay, and take those marks. Otherwise बाद में वो मार्क मिलता ही नहीं. Friday के बाद वो चाहने से भी मार्क नहीं मिलेगा. So I'm giving another scope because some students might have genuine reason. If you have genuine reason, you will definitely come. Thursday or Friday, they will see, okay, only for those absentee students, not for others. Okay. So now online students, you go for your
So on Thursday, Friday, online students can also come for the class.
Online students they may connect also, absolutely no problem. Basu अच्छा?
हाँ सर सर नमस्कार सर.
नमस्कार. Purely optional as I told, those new evaluation will not be done. New evaluation will not be done. Only old evaluation if you have missed, they will be doing. I will not teach anything other than clarifying the doubts. If I will not be coming here, I'll be sitting in the ground floor. There also, if you have some doubt, you can come. But I'll only clarify minor doubts. Remember this. I'll only clarify minor doubts. If somebody will come, sir, I have not understood pointer, please explain. No.
So
Only
minor doubts मतलब क्या बोल सकते हैं?
मतलब होता है सर ये पॉइंटर क्यार को करने से ये होता है, ईंट को करने से क्या होगा, उसी
अच्छा.
टाइप का, उसी टाइप